Hi guys, today I'm going to be sharing about how people-pleasing, manipulation, and forcing an outcome totally kicked my relationship's butt and how I stopped it. So have you ever been one of those people who either does people-pleasing, which can look like, so people-pleasing to me can sometimes be bending and weaving, or doing things that you don't want to necessarily do, or doing things simply because somebody's asked you to do, even if you don't want to. So have you ever been caught out doing people-pleasing in your intimate relationship or in other relationships for that matter? Because I have. That used to be one of the big things that I used to do in a relationship, and oh my gosh, it totally kicked my relationship's butt. And not only did I do people pleasing, I also was a manipulator, right? So I would manipulate to get things done. So instead of asking for what I wanted, I would manipulate the other person, my partner at the time, to get the things that I want. I also would do things like forcing an outcome. So instead of being in like the flow and kind of rolling with it, asking for what I want, sharing myself, being vulnerable, I would like force an outcome and be like, right, this needs to get done. Which, if you don't know, never actually works in relationship. It doesn't feel good for you either, forcing the outcome, and it doesn't feel great for the other person. So how I actually learned to stop it, right? Like how did I? How ever could you stop doing these things? So if you're somebody that does one or all of these, how do you then stop it? So for me, with people pleasing, first I had to notice that I loved myself, right? And I had to accept myself for who I am and who I'm not. And I had to really get to know and go on a journey and accept who I was being, and accept who I was being inside of a relationship, which then allowed me to, instead of people pleasing, I could choose to say yes or I could choose to say no, and I would actually be okay with either of the two. So instead of just doing what other people wanted all the time, I actually could check in with myself and go, hey, is that actually something I want to be doing? So that's the first thing that I did. When it came to manipulation, I had to start asking for what I want. Yes, ladies, asking for what you want. And gentlemen, this is relevant for you as well, but this one's a big one for women, right? Because we don't often want to ask for the things that we want. We assume, ask you me, we assume that people, our partner, knows exactly what we want, and then we'll go about trying to get it in different ways, manipulation, and instead of actually just simply asking for what we want, right? So let me give you an example. So say for my birthday, I want to go out to a specific restaurant, and I want it to just be my husband and I, or I want it to be a family affair, or I want other people to meet us there. I literally need to tell them, babe, this is what I actually want to do. Or if you want something specific for Christmas is coming up, or your birthday, then you have to ask for the thing that you want versus like subtly dropping hints, because subtlety does not work. You actually have to start asking or manipulating to get what you want, or trying to force an outcome. Those two kind of work hand in hand. So the third one is forcing an outcome. So instead of flowing and actually being okay with what came up, I would like force an outcome or like make things happen, which is a really great attribute to have like in business, but there's a better way to do it. When I would force an outcome, it left me exhausted and feeling like, burnt out by the end of it. Now what I've learned to do is I've learned to actually flow and roll with what is happening, or not happening for that matter, and go with it. So I learned to breathe. I learned to not control, manipulate, or force an outcome. And I actually learned to flow with what is and move with things rather than trying to make it happen. Like it had to happen this way. It was only going to be this way. It was like my way or the highway, right? It was like letting go of control and letting go of needing it to be a certain way to actually flow through. So that's actually 3 things that I very much used to do in previous relationships. First thing I had to do was actually get clear with myself, guys. Clear with myself that I was doing people pleasing, that I was doing manipulation, that I was doing forcing an outcome. Once I was clear I was doing those, then I had power to change. So that's Gail, sharing with you the intimate relationship method. Look forward to speaking to you guys again soon.